Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll call the January 8th, 2015 Port Harbor meeting to order. The machine is open for roll call. Brian, mine's on?
It's that little black thing by Christian.
All right, I'm pressing it. See, nothing's on. Nothing.
No, nothing's on. Now it's on.
All right. Let the record reflect all 9 council members are here present. Please rise for the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Burt will lead us in the prayer.
We take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God as ruler over all governments, especially ours in Plaquemines Parish. We pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality to all, and will be void of selfishness, arrogance, and animosity. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. Amen.
Thank you. Mr. Cormier, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We will now move to item D. Ms. Barber.
A resolution electing the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District Chairperson for 2015 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Our orphan will fill in the blank on line 14. It says Council Member Bo Black. And fill in the blank on line 20 as Councilman Bo Black. With that, I'll offer and ask for a second. Second by Mr. Burt. Is there any questions from the table? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Salvan?
Yes, I'm of the opinion that we should revert back to the old way of issues. The council is the sole governing authority of the port, and I think that it should revert back to, abolish the committee and revert back to the authority of the entire council. And that's my opinion. I don't think it was an experience that I've had as sitting as an administrative assistant that was the information did not reach the entire body. And I think that if we would have involvement from the entire council, I think we would serve this government. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Alvan. Any other questions? Mr. Russo?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm torn on this issue. I somewhat believe that the council, as the sole governing authority as well, should act in unison as a full body. I also experienced the committee at work, and I thought that the full body would have done a better job at working with the port. I've been in meetings, with committee meetings that were held at odd times in places like the council chamber committee room. And I also thought that the light of day should be shining on the business of the port. And I think it would do the port some benefit to bring your business before a meeting such as this and well attended as this, other than having a committee meeting in the conference room where only 2 or 3 people attend. That was the case with the China trip, the hiring of the Steptoe and Johnson firm. It's something that we should consider. And if we move into the direction of that, then I think that the entire body should make those decisions. And I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but I'd like to get some input from them as well.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Mr. Juneau?
In regards to what has been said, I also agree that the whole council should be the full committee. And we should abolish the committee that's on there now. We're going to abolish a few other committees, and I think this one also should be abolished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Juneau. Mr. Burke?
I believe the ordinance that's on the table right now is electing the port chairman, not the port the port committee.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Mr. Russo?
Mr. Chairman, that's the point. The point is that if we're not going to have a committee, then why would we elect a chairman or a vice chairman or go in that direction? So I think this is the defining moment today to decide whether or not we're going to have a committee. If we have a committee, naturally we want a chairman and a vice chairman and a couple of members on the committee. If we're not going to have the port committee, then obviously we don't need to move in this direction. So I appreciate your comment about what this pertains to, but the overall subject is whether or not we're going to have a committee. And if we decide that we're not, then why would we be moving in this direction is my point.
Well, does anyone make amendment to disassemble the committee, or we want to move forward?
I could put a test on the table right now. I'll move to table this item. Ask for a second. If we get a vote, then we know the direction we're headed.
We'll put it up for a vote.
Machine is open.
Machine's open on the hold on. We're asking to table this now to not continue with the committee. Is that correct?
Well, what it does is not actually the committee. This is a test to decide whether or not we're going to have a committee. If you're in favor of not having a committee, then naturally you would vote to table this. If you're for the committee, then you would vote not to table this, and then we would move forward in electing the chairman. I mean, we don't have anything before us right now to abolish a committee, but I would not like to see us elect officers and then abolish the committee next week or next meeting. So this is an opportunity to step up to the table and decide what you want to do. And so at that point, it's not a debatable item to start with. It's a motion to table, and we're out of order even debating it.
Let's get this straight. If we voting yes, you voting yes to table this. You voting no, we move on to the committee.
We move on to the ordinance, the resolution that's on the table. To take the vote.
Okay. Any other questions? The machine is open. Mr. Edgecombe? And it is tabled with a vote 5-4. And we now have to have the chairman. We'll now move to item 2, executive session. There is none. Item 3, status report by Executive Port Director.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the council. I am Sandy Sanders, the Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor Terminal District. Follows is my Executive Director's report for the reporting period of 18 December through 8 January. First of all, congratulations to President Cormier on your election and all the new and returning members of the council. On behalf of the staff, we give you a warm welcome. Second, there's an item today, item 6 alpha, that I respectfully request it be withdrawn. This item authorized the replacement of authorities 1 and 2 to go on surplus sale. And the reason I asked that they be withdrawn is that the new boats are not available at this time. However, Mr. Pennison and Mr. Durr did visit Metal Sharks Manufacturing, which are building the new boats and in Franklin, Louisiana, and they have told us that these boats, their availability is most likely going to be mid-February. Sir, this concludes my report, subject to your questions or observations.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Any questions from the table? Audience?
My name is Arthur Henry, and just a status report from the director. Last year, we purchased some land from Citrus Land. Could you inform the public just where are we going with this? What's all I see is a big old sign down there. The people paying millage and everything else for this. Where are we heading at with this?
Thank you, sir, for your question. And this is the property that the port has purchased to develop the future of the port. And there are a lot of ideas that are under a non-disclosure agreement right now, but that is the property that the port has purchased to develop a landlord port.
My question I'm asking is, what's straight up? What's taking so long? I mean, is this a long process, or you got like a 4-year contract, but is that process going to go all the way out to your contract and nothing there?
No, sir. The development of the port is a market-driven approach. It's not just a build it and see if they come. It will be based on what the market is, and we have entertained quite a few suitors who are interested in the port, and we are in negotiations with these suitors, and we are in the midst of developing a public-private partnership with the best suitor for this property. And it's not time-driven. It is as the market allows.
I don't know if you ask a whole lot of people. Maybe it's not. If it's market driven, we're not getting our bang for the buck here, some kind of way. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Henry. Anyone else from the audience? Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Item 4, there are no bids and advertisements. Item 5, introduction, an ordinance. Mr. Bartholomew, you have some? Okay. Port? No. Wait. Port. What port? I'm sorry. Okay. Mr. Black, you have any? Mr. Juno?
No.
Mr. Russo? None. Did I have one? Yeah, I had one. A resolution to provide for the naming of the new port vessels and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Mr. Burt, you have none. Ms. Salvant? Mr. Edgecombe? Have none, sir. Ms. Williams?
I have none.
Okay. We'll move to item 6A, which is withdrawn or deferred? Withdrawn. Item 6B will be deferred today. Item 6C is deferred. And item 6D is deferred. We will move to item 7, new business. Any new business to come before this port meeting? Audience? I'm sorry, administration? Audience? We move to item 8, approval of the December 17th, 2014 special meeting and December 17th, 2014 budget hearing meeting. I'll offer and ask for a second. Second by Mr. Edgecombe. Any questions? Machine is open on the minutes. And the minutes are approved 9-0. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn by Mr. Roussel, second by Mr. Burt. The machine is open on adjournment. And we are adjourned at 2:18. We're now open the January 8, 2015 council meeting. The machine is open for roll call. Franny. Let the record reflect all 9 council members are here today. We will move to item EE. Ms. Barber.
A resolution to elect Kirk M. Lapine as chairman of the Plaquemines Parish Council for the year 2015 and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer and ask for a second.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Edgecombe. Any questions from the table?
Yes. I'd like to offer a substitute to this item.
Do we have a substitute?
Yes. On motion of Councilmember Juneau, second by Councilmember, can I get a second? The following resolution was moved for adoption. A resolution to elect Benny Roussel as the chairman of the Plaquemines Parish Council for the year 2015 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I have a motion on the table. Offered, second by Ms. Salvant. Are there any questions? They often substitute, he has it in writing. Okay, very good. Okay. I'm sorry, Kim, what'd you say? This is the motion.
That's not the main motion, that's just the motion.
Motion to consider the substitute. Any other questions? A yes, a 1 vote is for yes, a 2 is for no. Machine is open. And it is granted 5-4. Okay, we will move to the blank and then substitute Benny's name.
Well, right, that's the motion, and then now there can be discussion on that motion.
Okay.
As amended.
All right, we'll move to the what's on the table. Go ahead, Mr. Rousseau.
As a point of order, this was a substitute motion that was offered and adopted. And the adopted motion stands, in my opinion.
Mr. Rathbone, is that correct?
What's that?
Is the adopted resolution that we just did with the substitute correct? Or do we have to vote on it?
You have to vote on it as amended.
It was never amended, it was substituted.
Or as substitute, either one.
We just
It
did.
has to be voted on. The main motion has to be voted on as substitute after discussion.
Didn't we do?
Okay. Hold- Let me ask the question, Mr. Rathburn. Mr. Rathburn. Okay, if we move to DD and insert Mr. Roussel's name and vote on that, would that be sufficient? The one with the blank. Mr. Edgecombe and Mr. Turner had offered one that was with a blank.
You want this one?
The motion as substitute. The one that was read by Mr. Juno, what was he
Just substituting
substituting?
his, substituting,
This one? Okay.
no, it's substituting EE.
I'm sorry.
It was substituting this one. Mr. Roussel's name instead of mine. So should we vote on 6EE?
This is, right, that will be the one, with Mr. Roussel's name substituted in, this will be the one that gets voted.
Okay. We'll move to item 6EE. And substituting on line 6, Kirk M. Lapine to Benny Roussel. And with that, I'll offer an act. Well, Mr. Edgecombe, you going to offer? It's been offered, and it's been seconded by Mr. By Mr. Juno. Did you second it?
I think now
I brought it up. Ms. Audrey seconded.
It's new?
now
Okay.
somebody needs to offer it and second.
Okay. Well, Mr. Juno offered it.
I offered it.
It was seconded by Ms. Salvan. Okay. Any questions from the table? Audience? Administration? The machine is open on 6EE. Wait. Clear the machine. Clear the machine.
Are you clear?
Clear. Okay. The machine is open now. And 6E is granted 5-4. Congratulations, Mr. Roussel. We'll take a 5-minute recess while we switch places.
I gotta switch too. I gotta switch too. You gotta.
You can one more.
Yeah, I'll come over. Move it. We'll move over.
by Mr. Edgecombe. Okay. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. First of all, I'd like to thank my colleagues for allowing me to serve as the chairman for this year. Although it wasn't a unanimous vote, I call on y'all to come together at this time and move us forward. And I think the message is that this last election represented a need for change, and that's what just happened. It happened on the election day. I want to thank you, Mr. Cormier and Mr. President, for attending the meeting today, and I hope this will be a habit, something that we haven't seen in a long time. We are encouraged by the fact that your directors are here and the finance department is here, and that we will be able to receive information in a timely fashion and work together. It is a great day for us to be able to work together and see you there. At this time, I want to just highlight a few points of what we faced this year. This is a personal privilege statement. We have to really look at where this government is headed in the direction. We are in severe financial straits at this time, and we will have to make some serious decisions. We cannot operate as we've operated in the past, and I hope that the public will bear with us because it may not be a pleasant ride for the next year, especially if the oil prices remain at $40 a barrel. So having said that, I'd like to move forward with the meeting. And at this time, I don't know if 1A is executive session. Are we deferring that or are we moving forward? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. We'll move forward. No proclamations today. Status report by the President. Mr. President, would you like to make any comments at this time? Mike's not on. Push the button. Yeah, this is going to be passed down.
I'd like to thank God for giving me the opportunity to serve the people of Plaquemines Parish. The good people of Plaquemines Parish have given me the title of President of Plaquemines Parish, but in order to really be the true leader of Plaquemines Parish, then I have to earn that title with hard work, honesty, and loyalty to the people. And if I can do and accomplish those particular things, then I think I will become a significant leader for the people. And significance means that it doesn't have anything to do with power or money. It just has to do with having a positive effect on the people around you. Having said that, I'd ask you to pray hard for us as an administration, as a council, so that we can work hard for you to bring peace and harmony to Plaquemines Parish in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, we'll move to bids and advertisements. Ms. Standifer.
Good afternoon. I'm Brenda Standifer, the Plaquemines Parish Purchasing Agent. I have a resolution authorizing acceptance of bids for furnishing new components for an existing roller unit as manufactured by Walker Process Equipment, Division of McNeish Corporation of Aurora, Illinois, under contract serial number P20650 or equal for a period of 1 year for use by the Water and Sewer Department. After due advertisements, bids were received January 6, 2015 from the following. Delphin's Drafting of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Walker Process Equipment of Aurora, Illinois. Coastal Process of Holden, Louisiana. After deferring with engineering, it's my recommendation that we reject the bid of Dolphins Drafting, as it did not include freight charges in their bid as required in the specifications, and the specifications was crossed out not to include part of the required product. It is my recommendation that we accept the next lowest bid of Walker Process Equipment.
I'll offer and ask for a second.
Second.
Second by Representative Juneau. There's a difference of $13,500, I noticed.
Yes, sir.
Does that warrant the shipping? And obviously, you disqualified the first bidder because they scratched out a number of items.
They scratched out a component in the actual specs itself that required, I don't remember the exact wording. There's something about rotate. Oh, here it is. The equipment shall be equipped with swing vanes to rotate, and they scratched out that whole line and said that the existing one we have doesn't have that. But the new one that they're engineering and ST is requesting is that it does have it, so they scratched that out, thinking that they were going to give us what we had, but that's not what the bid was asking for. And then they also didn't include the freight in their cost, and I've seen where they can come back later and say freight's $100,000, which would make the bid huge.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions from the table? Any from the audience? Hearing none, machine is open.
Just 1 second.
And the resolution is adopted 9-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Move the beer and liquor license. Councilman Bartholomew.
What's your mic? No, it's going to get green. There it is.
Specials boat launch at 8603 Highway 39, Breakaway, Louisiana, zip code 70040. That's all I have.
Councilman Black.
Yeah, Chairman Russo, I have actually one for you in your district, since it's been redistricted. Isis Casico, 2019 Concord Road in Belchase, Angela's Restaurant and Lounge. Ty Scott, 2010 Highway 23 in Belchase. That's Tand LLC. Jafar Farood. That's ABU LLC. Yeah, same as Quick Stop at 102 Keating Drive. Another one for you, Councilman Russo, which is Charlie's Restaurant. It's 108 Nanaquin Court. 612 Engineers Road in Belchase. I also have the Plaquemines Parish Heritage and Seafood Festival are requesting a temporary alcohol and beer permit for the 2015 annual festival, which will be held at the Plaquemines Parish Festival Grounds, located on 333 F. Edward Hebert Boulevard, Belchase, Louisiana, to be held on May 15th, 2015, May 16th, 2015, and May 17th, 2015. I also have the Belchase YMCA United Way requesting a temporary alcohol and beer permit for the 2015 third annual Jambalaya Cook-Off, which will be held at the Plaquemines Parish Festival Grounds located on 333 F. Edward Hebert Boulevard in Belchase, to be held on March 28, 2015. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Payne.
I have one. Town View Cafe, 7918 Highway 23, Belchase.
I have three. Blue Angel, 9670 Highway 23, Belchester, Louisiana. Circle K, 25 West Cedar Street, Suite 10, Pensacola, Florida, 32502. But it's on, that's the 9144 Highway 23. Maria's Restaurant, 8475 Highway 23, Suite B, Belchester, Louisiana.
Thank you. I have none. Councilor Sullivan.
Gopher Incorporated, 26852 Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. B&H Beverage LLC, 114 Azalea Drive, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Gilbo Industry, P.O. Box 6666, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. And the last one being Gilbo's Deli, P.O. Box 66, Port Sulphur, Louisiana.
Thank you, Councilman Edgecombe.
Yes, I have two. Dad's Bar and Grill, 32381A, Highway 23, Buras. Empire Fuel and Oil, 168 Ice House Road, Empire. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Councilman Williams.
I have two. Parts Exxon, 42813 Highway 23, Venice. And the Den Lounge, 42805 Highway 23, Venice.
Thank you. Any others that we might have passed? If not, have a motion to accept the liquor license as presented. I'll offer it. Second by Councilman Burt. Any comments or discussions from the table? Any from the audience? Hearing none, machine is open. Councilman Lapine voting verbally yes. And the resolution is adopted 9-0. Thank you. We move to building permits. I'm going to ask Ms. Marcotte to read the building permits today.
Dimension Energy Company, LLC, install a temporary workspace and remove barge from Mississippi River levee, Fort Jackson area. Century Exploration New Orleans, LLC, install 3-inch pipeline, 2-inch gas lift line, line heater, platform, production barge, 2 boat landings and shell pad, California Bay area. Shell pipeline, expose existing 20-inch pipeline to identify a foreign object that is interfering with the pipeline's cathodic protection, Breton Sound area, block 49. Hillcore Energy Company, repair riprap at W8 Walkway, Southwest Pass. Century Exploration, New Orleans, LLC. Item 4A5, Century Exploration, New Orleans, LLC. Dredge, install pile clusters, drill the Palmetto Prospect B, and install wellhead protector, California Bay area. Item 4A6, United Bulk Terminals, install crushed concrete for erosion protection on the water side of the Batcher with sand filled behind to build up the Batcher under and around conveyor belts. 14537 Highway 15 Davant. Item 4A7, install new dry Ramp Terminals LLC, install new dry bulk ship and barge deck, storage yard with conveyors and rail for transport, install 34 dolphins for barge, fleeting temporary dredge pipes over levee, foundation settling pond, wick drains and ramp over levee. 16111 Highway 23 Myrtle Grove. Item 4A8, Hellas Oil and Gas LLC, install 3-inch gas lift line and 4-inch flow line, West Black Bay Field. Item 4A9, Palm Energy Offshore LLC, installed 4-inch pipeline, West Delta Block 52 Field. Item 4A10, Hellas Oil and Gas Company, LLC, install 3-inch gas lift line and 4-inch flow line, southeast Black Bay Field. Item 4A11, Texas Petroleum Investment Company, drill the SL1998 SWD well number 4 and install 8-inch pipeline, Britton Sound Area Block 21. Item 4A12, Hellas Oil and Gas Company, LLC. Remove piled timber well protector structures, abandon and rebury flow lines in place and site clearance for plug and abandoned wells, East Black Bay Field. Item 4A13, Hellas Oil and Gas Company, LLC. Remove piled timber well protector structures, abandon and rebury flow lines in place and site clearance for the plug and abandoned wells, North Black Bay Field. Item 4A14, Hellas Oil and Gas Company, LLC. Remove piled timber well protector structures, abandon and rebury flow lines in place and site clearance for the plug and abandoned wells, Southeast Black Bay Field. Item 4A15, Hellas Oil and Gas Company, LLC. Remove piled timber well protector structure, abandon and rebury flow lines in place and site clearances for the plug and abandoned wells, West Black Bay Field. Item 4A16, Swift Energy Operating, LLC. Install 6-inch pipeline, Lake Washington Field. Item 4A17, Hellas Oil and Gas Company, LLC. 4-inch flow line, Southeast Black Bay Field. Item 4A18, Hellas Oil and Gas Company, LLC. Remove piled timber, well protector structures, flow lines, and site clearance, plug and abandoned wells, Pelican Point Field. Item 4A19, Hellas Oil and Gas Company, LLC. Remove piled timber, well protector structures, cut, cap, and rebury flow lines, site clearance, and plug and abandoned well, North Black Bay Field. Item 4A20, Swift Energy Operating, LLC. Install pile clusters and shell pad. Drill the SL212 number E, PUD9. Install keyway and wellhead protector, Lake Washington Field. Item 4A21, Swift Energy Operating, LLC. Install pile clusters and shell pad. Drill the SL20379 number A, Ferrero Prospect. Install keyway and wellhead protector, Lake Washington Field. 4A22, Swift Energy Operating, LLC. Wheel wash, dredge channel. Install pile clusters and shell pad. Drill the Jelly Bowl offset well number 002 and install wellhead protector platform, 3-inch flow line and 6-inch pipeline, Lake Washington Field. 4A23, Renaissance Offshore. Install 4-inch gas lift pipeline, main pass area blocks 72, 74, 75, and 76. Item 4A24, Century Exploration New Orleans, LLC. Dredge canal and slip. Install pile clusters, drill the Palmetto Prospect C, and install wellhead protector, California Bay area.
There's been a request to take, I believe, one item out of the order. That's 487. Are there any other requests to be taken separately?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a request to put on record that I will be abstaining from all oil and gas votes on permits.
Thank you, Councilman Black. At this time, we'll move on all items 4A1 as read, except the item of 4A7, which we will take separately. Are there any others that we need to take separately? Hearing none, I have a motion to accept the permits as presented. I'll offer. Councilman Edgecombe seconds. Any comments or discussions from the table on any of the permits that were read? Any from the audience, any comments? Yes.
Warren Lawrence, Middle Grove. One question I'd have on this is that, and in the past we've seen that some of these permits were not signed off by all the agencies necessary. We just want to make sure that that has been cleared, that every agency, the Board of Health and all, right down the line, that these permits have been cleared by every department.
Yes. Any other comments? Questions? Hearing none, machine is open. And the resolution is adopted 8-0 with Councilman Black abstaining. We move to 4A7. At this time, I'll defer to Councilman Salvant.
I want to thank you for allowing me to speak on this matter. As many of you all know and have been a resident of this parish, I think this is not an unfamiliar area for any of us. This Ram coal terminal came about, in my opinion, by it originated and conceived in conception. And it's nothing against the Ram terminal themselves, but without going into a long, lengthy discussion on how all of this came about through the previous administration, but I think it needs to be stated that the communities that was most affected by, and that would be directly affected by this terminal, was not even considered, wasn't even brought to the table. We had to learn about this. The Myrtle Grove communities, the Arlington community, and the Wood Park community is the closest within the closest proximity to this terminal. And we had to learn about this terminal coming into our backyard through the rumor mill. Mr. Nungesser, there were deals made. There were, I mean, it was just a total disregard for the communities. And I again, this is nothing. I went on a tour with Mr. Varone, who is an employee of the Ram Terminal. He is a wonderful guy. I mean, he was well informed. He abreast me of all the matters. He showed me the site. I was impressed with his presentation. But the bottom line is that, you know, this is not a good fit for the community. It's just not. It's not a good fit for the community. I represent those areas, the Arlington area, the District 7 area, where this terminal is going to be housed, and the constituency of that district have a major problem with that. In the recent, there was the judge just made Judge Connor made a ruling in favor of the communities, and he saw that even the state didn't do due diligence in finding alternative sites. There was also, to revert back to where this all started, the former president, he, I think, took upon his own and went public in saying that that area was an industrial corridor. Well, I need him to explain to me, how can you make an industrial corridor through a residential district? You know, that was his personal opinion, and we as community residents of the historical community of Arlington, we was offended by that comment. That community have been there over 200 years, and for him to just take upon his own and even take it a step further to try and displace that community without informing members of that community. He wanted to displace us further south. It was an additional insult. So I think, as when I mentioned earlier that it was originated and conceived in deception, I think, too, my personal opinion, that Ram was used to further their agenda. But I'm not going to continue to just whine and whine and complain, but I wanted to state my case and let the people know that this wasn't anything that we just arbitrarily against. It's not a good fit. It's not environmentally safe. It's we have a diversion that's going to be right in the same footprint of this community, of this land term, this Ram terminal. So there's a whole bunch of things that's working against this project. And at this point, there's a lot of folks in the audience that want to get their turn at the mic and want to state their position. And at this time, Council, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I would like to open the floor to some individuals that may want to speak their piece.
Any comments from the table? We have we don't have a resolution yet on the floor. If you'd like to offer something, and we can second it, and then we can have some open discussion. So your wishes are at this time to
offer for discussion, yes. And then I'll decide.
Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Burke. This time, the discussion will proceed. Anybody at the table would like to make comments on the permit, or you want to reserve your right to comment after the public? Seeing no one at this time, the public will be invited to come, state your name, and make your case.
I have two documents for the council members.
Sure.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Devin Martin. I reside at 620 Ricks Place in Algiers, just up the river, not too far here on the West Bank. I work with the Sierra Club. We're an environmental organization. We've been around since 1892, working to conserve America's natural resources. And we've been here in Louisiana since about mid-late 60s. I don't want to take up too much time. I know that there's a lot of business to attend to, but I do want to make sure that all council members, before you make a decision on this building permit, have all of the facts and all of the information at your fingertips to make a wise choice today. And I'd just like, if I can, to summarize a few of the issues on why we believe, as well as hundreds of residents, thousands of residents, in fact, across Plaquemines Parish and the West Bank region, and in fact the entire southern Louisiana area, think this project is a bad fit for our state. To begin, RAM is not wanted by the folks who are going to live in its backyard. The people who live in the middle part of Plaquemines Parish and Ms. Salvant's district have mentioned several times that they don't want this terminal in their backyard. The reason primarily is the dust issues that they have with the existing coal terminals. Dust is a major problem for everyone who lives around here. Everyone who lives within 2 to 3 miles of the existing coal terminals complain about dust. And it's not a problem that's just made up. It's evidenced by a successful lawsuit that was waged by residents of Myrtle Grove and Wood Park against the IMT coal facility. They won that lawsuit. The judge ruled that the dust that was escaping from that facility was illegal, egregious, and that the terminal was required to do something about it. We've also conducted local air sampling using some very sophisticated new technology, which has shown that on occasion the dust levels from that facility, from IMT, rise to unhealthy levels for folks who breathe the air, especially for folks who have respiratory illness or asthma. The dust is a nuisance for most people, for all people that live around there. You have to wash your homes constantly, your boats, your cars. But for folks who have health problems, who have asthma, respiratory disease, it becomes a true health hazard. And nobody should have to live with a health hazard that's caused by a neighbor who's not being neighborly. Finally, having 2 terminals in the same region is going to ensure that the coal dust is not just a problem when the wind is blowing in 1 or 2 primary directions, but that the dust is going to come into Ironton, Wood Park, and Myrtle Grove in virtually all wind directions. You'll have 2 terminals, so whether the wind is coming from the northeast or the southwest, it will blow into these communities. And that's a serious issue that folks should think about. Do we want to have 3 communities in Plaquemines Parish that are constantly barraged by dust that's a nuisance, that's a health hazard for people with breathing problems, and that we know contains dangerous levels of heavy metals and other contaminants? There's also the issue that RAM would be the first coal terminal connected to the railroad, and it would bring in coal trains through the entire West Bank. Coal trains are miles long, or a mile and a half long on average. That's about 100 to 150 cars. They're uncovered because they're not regulated to be covered. And they would pass all the way from what we know from the Avondale Switchyard through Westwego, Marrero, the West Bank, Gretna, down through Belle Chase, Jesuit Bend, along their way to the Ram terminal site just upriver from Ironton. It should be noted that there's no mechanism for local or even state government to require coal trains to become covered. That's a federal regulation, comes through the Surface Transportation Board. Only the Surface Transportation Board or an act of Congress can change that. And good luck with getting Congress to do something right now in this political climate at the federal level. Increased freight trains are going to increase traffic congestion along Highway 23. They're going to have the potential to block emergency access from police, firefighters, ambulances. There's going to be an increased potential for derailments. And it should be noted that the rail infrastructure here, especially the old bridge in Belle Chase, is in desperate need of repair, and it would be very risky to start running these long, heavy coal trains through the region without having upgraded that line first, not after. According to research published by Entrepreneur Magazine, increasing freight trains on any line is going to reduce property values in the vicinity by 5 to 7%. That's going to have knock-on economic effects. It's going to reduce property values, which could eventually lower the tax base and property taxes for the parish. And it will also reduce economic activity that already exists here in this parish. Coal dust is going to escape from the uncovered coal cars, both from the loaded cars and the dusty, empty returning cars as they're on their way back. And it's going to collect along the rail line, become a health hazard for people with respiratory disease. And it's important to remember that this rail line passes straight through the heart of Belle Chase, including 50 yards from Belle Chase High School. Is this something that we really want for an entire community? In short, coal trains are going to reduce the quality of life for everyone that lives near the rail line, which it's important to remember that this is Plaquemines Parish, but this is something that's going to affect our neighbors and our friends and family that live in Westwego, Marrero, Harvey, Gretna, and Algiers, as in addition to Belle Chase and Jesuit Bend, Oakville, and everyone who lives along that rail line. The third big issue is that RAM threatens coastal restoration. And I don't think I need to explain why coastal restoration is important in Louisiana to anybody in this room or to anybody that lives south of I-10. Coal terminals in Louisiana have been dumping illegal pollution into the river for decades without oversight or enforcement. Our organizations have been monitoring these facilities for several years and reporting pollution to the state for the last at least 2 years. And when no apparent action was taken, we brought United Bulk Terminal from the East Bank to court for a violation of the Clean Water Act. The pollution that goes into the river should be a major concern for coastal restoration efforts and the health of our fisheries because the sediment from the river is being used to restore marsh. It's actually being used right now. When this sediment is contaminated with coal and petroleum coke, it's going to end up in the restoration projects. It's going to affect the health of the entire ecosystem there, as well as introduce heavy metals and other contaminants into the fisheries. And that's something that's incredibly important for this parish, as well as anybody that enjoys Louisiana seafood. We see this already happening in the Lake Hermitage dredging project. It's already been demonstrated that that project is contaminated all over the place with coal and petroleum coke. In fact, there was a newspaper article in the Times-Picayune, as well as a TV piece about it. The reason for that is that those sediments are being dredged 8 miles south of the existing coal terminals where coal and petroleum coke has been dumped into the river for decades and decades. Building RAM right next to one of the state's largest and most important coastal restoration projects is a recipe for disaster. The state has not conducted a full environmental impact statement for this terminal. In fact, the only study that the state conducted showed that RAM's very presence, regardless of whether it's going to be operated or not, even if it's just built and sits idle, is going to reduce the efficiency of this restoration project to deliver vital sediments by at least 17% or 500,000 tons of sand over a decade. That's important. 500,000 tons of sand into our marsh is a huge, huge deal that we cannot afford to give up. It showed that RAM, that even if no dumping occurred in the river the way that all of the other existing coal terminals in Louisiana do, that dust would contaminate the restoration project because they're so close. As well as it pointed out that detailed studies needed to be done to assess whether the terminal being so close to the diversion would impact navigation and safety concerns of ships and barges. If you look at the permit document, the barges for this terminal would be staged directly in front of the mouth of the proposed project. And there's no real discussion about how they're going to work this out. We also need to know how much pollution could be expected to enter the marsh, how the terminal is going to impact sandbars that are used for dredge material, but also are used as natural sills to protect salt water intrusion for drinking water for this parish as well as the city of New Orleans. This has never been determined. And how the terminal is going to, and whether the restoration project is actually going to cause erosion to the foundation and the pilings of the terminal itself. These are all issues that the study raised and said needed to have answers, because this study did not provide the answers. And the state, instead of investigating these issues, gave the terminal a permit instead. Finally, the biggest problem with this project, or one of the other major issues, is that it's been largely kept out of the public eye. People who live in the West Bank had no idea that a new coal terminal was being proposed that's going to bring coal trains through the neighborhoods. People in Plaquemines weren't aware that a new coal terminal was being planned until air permits were already granted by the DEQ. That's unacceptable. The sole public hearing that was held was by DNR, and it was scheduled for Devant and the East Bank, one of the most inaccessible places in this part of the state. And it was only angry phone calls by people like Warren Lawrence to elected officials and council members that a second public hearing was scheduled for Belle Chase so that people could attend. However, there was only a week notice for that public hearing. Despite all that, there were 70-plus people that attended these public hearings, and everyone who delivered oral testimony was against the terminal. And the state still went ahead and pushed forward its permit, which was just overruled by a local judge here because he saw and had the common sense to realize that this thing has been pushed through too fast without due diligence. In fact, the judge said that the Department of Natural Resources breached its duty as a public trustee in issuing this permit. Finally, the only good thing that could come from building this terminal is potential economic benefits. And it should be noted that coal is a volatile commodity, that the price of coal has swung in the last 3 or 4 years from a high of $170-somewhat a ton down to about $60 a ton right now. In fact, coal exports from the United States have been shrinking for the last 3 years, and the existing coal terminals that we have throughout this state are shipping lower and lower volumes each year. So the potential economic benefits that this thing can bring are risky in itself. Do we really want to risk building out economic opportunities that may not even exist in the long run and sacrifice what's most important, coastal restoration and the health and quality of life of our citizens in the process? As it stands, well, there are hundreds and hundreds of people that still need to weigh in on this project. This needs to come out into the light of day. A full economic, environmental, and public health study needs to be completed before anything moves forward. As it stands, this permit is a recipe for disaster, not only for Plaquemines Parish, but all of South Louisiana and our future. We need coastal restoration if we want to continue to live, to love, and celebrate the beauty of our culture, our history, our heritage. We need to protect our quality of life if we want this place to be worth living and saving. This council, as the elected representatives of the people of Plaquemines Parish, have the opportunity today to make a choice that will have lasting impact for generations, not just for this parish, but for everyone who lives in this amazing part of the world that we call Louisiana. Today you can choose coast and everything that it brings with it. The coast is what makes who we are as a people and as a culture unique and important. Or you can choose coal. I pray that you make the right decision. Thank you.
My name is Warren Lawrence. I live at 120 Timber Canal Lane, Myrtle Grove. 10.5 years ago, I decided to move into the best parish in Louisiana. I searched all over for a place to retire and go to, and I thought I had it made. I moved in here, and I knew they had an existing coal terminal within sight of my home. I did not think that was a problem. I built this home, put my life savings in it. After moving in, I started seeing clouds coming in of coal dust. I went to the terminal, discussed it with the manager of the terminal, and he had the gall to tell me, well, that may be from the tires on the automobiles going up and down the highway. Well, it ended up, I contacted the Board of Health. I've been appearing before this council for 8 years now with the same problem. We ended up not getting help from our administration that was there, not from the councilman. we had to file a class action suit. And we proved it to be a fact. And we won the suit. They came back and they doubled the size of the existing terminal. We did win where they now have to do some prevention measures. That prevention measures, I will say, has helped. Has it cured it completely? Time will tell. We are still running monitors to find out. I see at times, I still go out and wipe the table and wipe the coal dust. I can see it in the bottom of the swimming pool. And, you know, we put our life savings. We live in an area that we're just asking to live healthy. I know jobs are important, but so is quality of life. As far as the trains and everything coming in, we didn't know anything. I found out about this when the previous council voted to approve Ram's application for a, what they call it, the loan from the low interest loans from the state, which they were also rejected on. But that's how we found. Not one public hearing didn't come to the people. They came to the administration, and I know they came to a lot of the councilmen. We had one councilman fighting in our behalf. And I can say that my life, I'm kind of old, but I plan on living a few more years. And I just beg you, don't do this to us. I now get the coal coming from the east side. Put this one, I'll be getting it from the west side. You're jamming me, you know. I mean, we're looking at a situation, not one of you people would want to live in this circumstance. And if you think 80 jobs is worth it, then go ahead and vote for another terminal. I just hope that you recommend denial of this permit and that you come back, and if you want to consider any operation in our community, tank farms or anything else, first thing you do, talk to the people, because that's who put you in now. Listen to the people. If you're afraid of the people, then you got a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Oscar Pipkins. I'm the president of the Baywood Neighborhood Association and the president of the West Jefferson Civic Coalition. And I just wanted to give a perspective from your neighbors. We've listened to the concerns of those who are most apt to be affected by it, your people, the people that live right here. But I wanted to give you a perspective from your neighbors. Like I said, I'm the president of the Baywood Neighborhood Association. Baywood is a little community right off of Belle Chase Highway, set back a little piece. Many of you may know about it from the playground, the Oakdale playground. That community is only one of the many communities that would be impacted by this terminal. It was already mentioned about the mile-long trains that would be coming to supply the terminal. And our concerns are just like the ones here, but they're quality of life concerns, they're safety concerns. They're just concerns that each and every one of us should be concerned about our children, that, you know, there are playgrounds that are along that route, that those trains are going to be traveling. The safety issue, if you have an emergency that requires an emergency vehicle to come and service a home, a family, they might have to take a wide route around. They might have to be there for 15 or 20 minutes waiting for a proper time for that train to be broken. Lives are at stake. You know, it's not just a convenience thing. You know, although it will hamper just ordinary traffic flow and commerce flow, it's not a convenience thing. This is real. This is real. This is something that would impact the quality of life in Westwego, Marrero, Gretna, Harvey, like I said, Baywood. All of these communities are potentially impacted by this. Now, we've heard talk of reroute of the train tracks to come a different route, but that would take years to happen. And in the meantime, we know that the commerce portion of this would be so overwhelming that it would start before any rerouting were ever done. So there are lives at stake. There's the other thing too. I know your community is just like all of the communities on the West Bank. We're trying to make our communities more attractive for improvements to our communities, to bring in the best and the brightest to our communities. They're not going to want to come to a situation where there's the potential for health issues and whatnot. So from that perspective, your future planning, your future growth of your community could definitely be impacted by the way that you vote here today. So I just wanted to give you that perspective from the perspective of your neighbors. We would appreciate it, as well as protecting your own people, you would be protecting the people that neighbor you. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Ralph Herman, 344 Myrtle Grove Road. I'd like to thank Mr. Oscar for coming and taking his time to come speak to the council. I had an opportunity, I was asked to come speak to the Gretna Council to talk about these same issues with the coal trains and the coal plant that was being built down here. And I would ask you the same question that I asked Gretna, and I'm a resident of Plaquemines, to please take this opportunity to do the right thing for the people you represent and for the people who live here. This is a dirty facility. The coal that they bring is so poor that it can't be burned in any of the facilities in our country. So we ship it out. So it's not even for the good of the country. It's not good for Plaquemines Parish, and it's not good for any of our residents. And I would just encourage you, you have an opportunity to do the right thing. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
Good afternoon, President Cormier, council members, and congratulations to the newly elected council members. My name is Laurie Leday, and I am your neighbor from Old Gretna in Jefferson Parish, 528 2nd Street. Wisdom, the ability to think and act using knowledge, experience, understanding, insight, and common sense. Judge Kevin Connor ruled with great wisdom, according to the law, revoking the permit from the Department of Natural Resources to an out-of-state coal company, Ram Terminal. I am overjoyed and very thankful for that ruling. Some of my best memories of childhood were spent in Empire when my daddy took us to his friend's camp to go crabbing. It was beautiful there, a sportsman's paradise. Our communities should not become an industrial corridor for coal causing many to suffer. The parish of Jefferson, the cities of Gretna and Westwego have all passed resolutions against this project. I now ask this council, please act to protect the health, safety, and quality of life for your citizens. Our lives and our Louisiana coastline should not be sacrificed for any reason. Let us work together to stop this once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening. My name is Pearl Seal. I live at 113 Johnson Street in Arlington. I'm here to please ask you all to think about the people that lives in these communities before y'all issue that permit, because they've been denied. Please think about the people that lives there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Virginia Trufant, and I live at 130 Gerard Street, Arlington, Louisiana. And I know that this is about money. It's not about lives. And we've been in Arlington all our life. I have retired and come home to enjoy my home, and now you want to put something, y'all want to have another.
I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak against this issue. My reason for opposing this is personal. My house is located at the beginning of the rail line that will bring coal trains to the Ram terminal if it is approved. These uncovered coal cars will move down the middle of my street less than 25 feet from the front of my house. I have train tracks that separate me from the people who live across the street from me. I am concerned about the impact coal cars traveling through Gretna to the terminal will have on citizens' property values, their health, and their safety. I am also concerned, and I would think you would be too, that the Ram terminal is to be located on the site of a major coastal restoration project that is necessary for the survival of us all. The building of the Ram terminal and the resulting coal train traffic will devastate not only my street, but the city of Gretna, its residents, and all the residents along the line traveling to Plaquemines Parish, and the residents of the larger area that depends on the coast being restored so that we are all protected. Please do not pass this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good afternoon. My name is Vince Frelich. I'm the Director of Coastal Restoration. We failed to mention with these coal cars that there is a trap door on the bottom of these cars. We had a corn load of corn on a train coming in with corn. Anyway, the trap door on his corn car failed. We had corn from Mr. Ricky Becknell's home to the terminal. So what if this happens in Gretna? This trap door fails on coal car. We got this whole coal car is gonna. This car is gonna empty on the highways, or we get a cross street. We got coal on the automobiles, the tires, and they're going to bring this coal to their homes, their driveways. So we've got to look at that situation also, and it could be pretty serious. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments on the item?
Arthur Henry. I live in Belchase. And you know, it's time for us to start looking at Belchase, Oakville, Georgeville Bend, Arlington, Myrtle Grove, all as one. When I wake up in the morning, I can breathe fresh air. those people should have the same opportunity I have. And I'm kind of directing this to the council people in Belkey. We live moderately good. That the people in the rest of the area live good. You know, Gretna, people from Gretna came here, but Gretna came with their resolution was just to move the tracks. But what it was moving the tracks at? Poor neighborhood. Just getting out the richer neighborhood. But let's be real here. It's time for us to have a quality of life for everyone. Everyone needs to live and have a quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Grace Morris. I'm a senior organizer with the Golf Restoration Network. The Golf Restoration Network is a 20-year membership organization that's based in New Orleans. Our focus is to protect and restore the natural resources of the Gulf of Mexico and its communities. We've heard a lot of different perspectives today about the impact that the proposed Ram coal export terminal would have to quality of life in the West Bank and particularly Jefferson and Plaquemines Parish. One thing that we do at the Gulf Restoration Network is ever since the BP drilling disaster, we've been flying over the Gulf and documenting the impacts. And so we have thousands of photos of the impacts that our coast and our communities have suffered from that drilling disaster. And along the way, we've also documented some other impacts. So my colleagues fly over the Mississippi River on a fairly regular basis, and we filed hundreds of national response center reports. And what we found is that coal export terminals are bad neighbors. They're constantly illegally discharging coal into the river. And as we have heard today, there's already Wood Park and Myrtle Grove have been in years of dealing with Kinder Morgan's IMT coal export terminal and the dust, and can tell you stories about what it's like to have to quickly clean your house when company's coming over, and what kind of and not being able to go out on your porch or enjoy barbecue because you have coal dust everywhere. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the science and the illegal discharging that we see from the existing terminals. So we have so many photos that look just like this. You see all of this coal that you see on the riverbank and discharging into the river, that is not permitted. There's currently a lawsuit underway. And we know that that's what the Ram coal export terminal would bring to our communities. Here's a photo of Kinder Morgan's IMT right after Hurricane Isaac. So as you can see, there's no hurricane preparedness that these terminals practice. That was Wood Park had just a whole coal slurry cover their entire community. And you can still see remnants if you walk around Wood Park. And that's just all of those piles dumping into miles of wetlands. We saw the same thing across the river with the United Bulk facility. Miles of polluted wetlands. And that's a huge coastal impact. And we know that we're going to get storms, and our communities can be resilient to storms, and we can prepare and do coastal restoration, and we can be resilient to storms. But these terminals are not good for the coast and definitely not good for our communities. Recently, actually, Warren was with me. We took John Snell of Fox News out to the Lake Hermitage Coastal Restoration Site. And anyone who goes out around Lake Hermitage or enjoys fishing out there, I encourage you to go by and see for yourself what that coastal restoration project looks like. It looks like someone took just dumped barbecue pits all over the site. Everywhere we have all these photographs that document golf-sized chunks of coal and petroleum byproduct. And the reason for that is the dredge that's pumping that sediment into that coastal restoration project is just downriver from United Bulk and IMT, two existing coal export terminals. And so that's a huge cost when our future in Louisiana depends on a healthy, restored coast. We don't want to be polluting that sediment that we desperately need to build our wetlands and protect our communities from storms. And so that's something that the Coastal Protection Restoration Authority has responded to, that discovery and that information, recognizing the need to study the impact of these facilities to our coastal restoration efforts. And then similarly along those lines with the Ram Coal Export Terminal, you have in front of you the state's own study, the Coastal Protection Restoration Authority's own study with an outside firm, Arcadis, that details the impact that the proposed Ram terminal would have to one of our major coastal restoration projects, a $300 million coastal restoration project that is a linchpin in our plans to protect especially Plaquemines and Jefferson Parish and Orleans Parish communities from future storms. And unfortunately, the state ignored its own scientists and ignored and really dropped the ball on that recommendation. And I think the hope that we have is that we're seeing an amazing amount of leadership at the local level to protect the coast and take leadership for our coast and our communities. And we've seen that in Jefferson Parish with Westwego and Gretna and Jefferson Parish itself, all passing unanimous resolutions citing specific health concerns, quality of life concerns, economic concerns, and calling for a full and comprehensive analysis of the impact of the proposed Ram terminal, calling for public hearings and transparency. And I'm really, heartened today by the words that we've heard, especially from Councilwoman Trufant-Salvant, and all of those comments are supported in the state court's ruling. And so this is actually a really quick read. It's only 8 pages. Page 7 is especially important. And I just want to turn your attention to some of the words on page 7 of that ruling, which speaks to the impacts of the rail and the coast and some of the basic democracy issues that are at play in this issue. So at the top of page 7, the state court ruling reads, the prospect of unknown substances being transported by rail through the most heavily populated portion of Plaquemines Parish is a matter of concern in the context of Article 9, Section 1 of the Louisiana Constitution, and as such, it is of concern to this court. And so, the judge recognized that there's so many unknown risks in this project that we're not taking into consideration, and that's a huge problem, especially along the rail. The judge goes on to state how while state agencies in Louisiana are always required to analyze alternative sites to reduce environmental impacts, the requirement is particularly important in this case, which is to be located on the same parcel of land as Louisiana's first major wetlands restoration project. And so we really are at a crossroads here in Louisiana where our coastal lines of defense protect us from storms, and I've had the privilege of meeting with many local leaders and seeing the money and the investment that's already on the table and going into coastal restoration. And I think it's so important in this moment that, this council shows leadership and will put our coast and our communities first. And that means saying no to the Ram Coal Terminal. This is very much a choice between coast or a dirty coal export terminal. And I strongly ask and implore you to be leaders for our coast, and thank you on behalf of all of our communities in coastal Louisiana, which would benefit from that leadership.
Thank you very much. Next, anyone else?
Corning, and I live in 177 Cazenay Street in Ironton. I just want to say to you, if you want to make somebody happy, then do it for me. Please vote no to this issue. We cannot take any more coal. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments on this item? At this time, I'll seek Some guidance from Councilmember Salvin. Your wishes, Councilman?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I would employ my colleagues to support me in moving forward on this item and support me in voting this permit down at the moment. In light of, as I said earlier, in light of the judgment of the court, I think it would be in the best interest of this council and representative of the residents of this parish to say no to this coal terminal at this time. Thank you.
Councilman Salvant moves to deny the permit. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Juneau. Any further discussion or comments on the item? Hearing none.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I do have one comment. I appreciate the residents of Arlington and Myrtle Grove Estates, and also the residents of Jefferson Parish and Orleans Parish for making the trip here to state your concerns. In light of the 2014 ruling from the 25th JDC, which I haven't had an opportunity to read yet, and also I see this has been deferred once on December 11th, and it's a pretty extensive packet. I would respectfully ask that we not withdraw, but we defer one more time, just to give the 7 council members an opportunity to read thoroughly through it. I would like to also ask my other colleagues in Gretna and in Jefferson Parish to weigh in. It will give us an opportunity to investigate this a little bit further. I am very well aware of the concerns, and I appreciate those concerns because it does affect not only my constituents but the constituents in all of Plaquemines Parish. But I haven't had an opportunity to read through the entire permit, nor have I had the opportunity to visit the site or talk to any official from Ram Terminal. So I would respectfully ask that we not vote to withdraw, but vote to defer. Thank you.
Any further comments, Councilmember Salvant? The wishes?
In light of, I appreciate Councilman Bowe's, Mr. Black's position, but this has been an ongoing issue for the residents for some time. And as the leader and the representative of that district, and listening to my constituency, I'm going to ask it to be brought to a vote.
You call a question?
Yes.
Question's been called. Machine is open. Clarifying the vote. A yes is to deny. A no is to not. Vote your machines, members. A clarification is a yes vote is a vote to deny the permit. A yes is to deny the permit, and a no is to not deny the permit. And the permit is denied 8 with 1 abstention. This time it's been, thank you very much. This time it's been requested that we move out of order to item Z at this time under Councilmember Lapine, and then we will move to items K, L, and M for the administration.
A resolution adopting a post-issuance compliance policy for tax-exempt municipal securities, authorizing the execution thereof, and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
Mr. Martin?
Russell and the ladies and gentlemen.
1 second. Councilman Lapine offers and Councilman Juneau seconds the motion. Mr. Martin.
Thank you. On behalf of the Finance Department, who drafted this resolution, this is really a housekeeping item in accordance with the IRS regulations and also the SEC in connection with regulation of openness with bond issues. There's many new rules now going into effect. And one of the requirements in order to comply with these regulations is that the parish adopt a policy with respect to post-issuance compliance. And that means is once you have bonds outstanding, at least once a year, you make a review of all the financial commitments which have been made in connection with servicing your outstanding bonds. And in the event any items occur or some event occur which would affect the ability of the parish to carry on its obligations, then is required to file on an electronic basis reports annually, which is a post-closing report. All this is a set of rules which the IRS and the SEC require be followed in providing these rules. It's just a housekeeping matter. But it is serious because there can be some enforcement taken on behalf of the IRS or the SEC if they're not properly followed. By adopting this resolution, you'll be in compliance with the procedure to be followed. Any questions? I'd be happy to try to answer.
Councilman Lapine?
Mr. Martin, this is an annual and just standard procedure, correct?
Yes, it's a standard procedure that's necessary, and everybody's having to adopt it.
Thank
Well,
Any further comments on the item? Any questions? Any questions from the audience? Comments? If none, the machine is open.
may I leave these certificates?
And the resolution is adopted 9-0. This time it's been requested that we move to item K. L&M, Councilmember Lapine.
A resolution confirming the recommendation of the President of the Parish of Plaquemines for the designation of the Director of the Department of Operations pursuant to Article 5, Section 5.01 of the Charter for Local Self-Government for the Parish of Plaquemines and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Thank you, Ms. Barber. I'll offer, and we'll fill in the blank on line 15. Insert Louisiana. On line 17, I'm going to ask the administration for a name, please. And could you spell it?
At this time, I take the honor to present to you the Director of Administration, Mr. Edward P. Terrio.
This is, I'm sorry, Director of Operations.
Director of Operations?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Let's do that one
Wrong
first.
item. That would be Mr. Stanley Wallace.
Okay, can we, Mr. Wallace, could you spell that name? Just Stanley. Wallace. Okay. Insert that on line 17. Line 23, insert Louisiana. And then line 24, inserts Mr. Stanley Wallace. With those changes, I'll offer and ask for a second.
So second.
Second by Mr. Russo. Any questions from the table?
Any comments from the audience?
Sorry about that.
Oh, only question I have is for the people's information. You tell me the salaries of these directors? It's public information. So.
Well, we can ask finance. We'll ask finance right there. Got a microphone?
$88,478.
Okay, Ms. Henry?
All three of them?
Yes.
Any further comments on item K? Table, audience? Hearing none, the machine is open on item K. And the resolution is adopted 9-0.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Wallace.
Congratulations. Thank you. Next item, L.
A resolution confirming the recommendation of the President of the Parish of Plaquemines for the designation of the Director of Department of Administration pursuant to Article 5, Section 5.01 of the Chapter for Local Self-Government for the Parish of Plaquemines and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer. Next, fill in the blank. On line 14, put in Louisiana. And Ms. Cormier on 16. We'll try to get Mr. Ed Terrio.
And now I'm proud to present
Okay.
Mr. Edward P. Terrio.
Edward Terrio. T-H-E-R-I-O-T? Correct. Okay. And now on line 20, we'll insert Louisiana. And on line 21, Edward Terrio. And with that, I'll offer and ask for a second. Second by Mr. Juneau.
Second by Councilman Burt.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Any comments or discussion on the item? From the table, from the audience? Hearing none, the machine is open. And the resolution is adopted 9-0.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Terrio.
Thank you. Congratulations. Move to item M. Councilman Lapine.
A resolution confirming the recommendation of the President of the Parish of Plaquemines for the designation of the Director of Department of Public Services pursuant to Article 5, Section 5.01 of the Charter for Local Self-Government for the Parish of Plaquemines and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer and we'll fill in the blank on line 14, insert Louisiana. And Mr. Cormier.
I'm proud to representative of the East Bank, Mr. Arbin Tinson.
All right. Can you spell that, Mr. Tinson?
O-R-B-O-N.
O-R-B-O-N.
Tinson, T-I-N-S-O-N, Senior.
Tinson, Senior. Okay. On line 20, we'll insert Louisiana. And on line 21, same thing, Arbin Tinson, Senior. And with that, I'll offer. Ask for a second.
Been offered by Councilman Lapine, seconded by Mr. Black. Any comments or discussion or questions? Hearing none. Anybody from the audience? None? Oh, nope.
Yeah, I just want to comment, Mr. Cormier and his administration, and I look forward to working with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur.
And the resolution is adopted 9-0.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Tinson.
Congratulations, Cormier and your new staff. We welcome you and look forward to working with you as well.
Likewise.
One more item that we need to move to, item 7A, new business, introduction of resolutions wherein suspension is being sought. Councilmember Lapine has that item, I believe.
367.
Blue folder. Blue folder.
The other blue.
I'm going to ask for a suspension. Only got one. I'm sorry. Kim? Okay, I'm going to read it out to you. A resolution confirming the recommendation of parish, a resolution confirming the recommendation of the President of the Parish of Plaquemines for the designation of the lead parish attorney pertinent to Article 5, Section 5.02 of the Charter of Local Self-Government for the Parish of Plaquemines and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Lapine seeks a suspension of the rules. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the machine is open. And as rules stand suspended, proceed, Councilmember Lapine.
Read it again. A resolution confirming the recommendation of the President of the Parish of Plaquemines for the designation of the lead parish attorney pertinent to Article 5, Section 5.02 of the Charter for Local Self-Government for the Parish of Plaquemines and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Now, I'll offer with a fill in the blank. Mr. Cormier, can you give me a name? So insert on line 15.
Yeah, the name I would submit is Mr. Joel Lefferholtz.
And can we get that spelling?
And I will ask him to spell it.
Okay. Okay.
Loefffelholz.
Okay. And that is pronounced?
Leffelholz.
Leffelholz. Joe Leffelholz.
And if I could add, Mr. Chairman, that Mr. Leffelholz has been a Tulane University adjunct law professor.
I need to get a second. Hold on. Okay. Okay, wait. Let me fill in the other blank on line.
Go ahead. Seconded by Councilman Williams.
Okay. Okay.
Woman.
Okay.
Go ahead. Mr. President.
Yeah, his background is such that he's been a Tulane University adjunct law professor. He's sat as an ad hoc judge. He's also had service with the New Orleans City Council, and I might add that he was the second to youngest attorney to argue before the United States Supreme Court. The first one was President Thomas Jefferson. So I think his experience and his background is much more than adequate. Thank you.
I didn't tell him to say that.
Mr.
The
Any
salary
comments?
is set at 85.
Save you a trip.
And that is a reduction from the previous salaries. All of our attorneys have taken a reduction in salaries, and I'm proud to say that they were in the service of the parish. In other words, that they did so.
So the salary went from 146 to 85.
Correct.
Thank you. Any further comments or discussion?
This not about the salary, and I know it's been reduced to 85. But is that full-time parish attorney or?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No, it's not half-time, I promise you.
There's some guys making $145,000 on the work an hour a day. So
I had 44 years. I've got enough.
Thank you, thank you. Let's call back to order in the machine. Any further comments or discussion? If none, the machine is open. And the resolution is adopted 9-0. Congratulations and welcome aboard. At this time, we will revert back to the agenda in the order of next item is construction permits. 4B.
Timothy Goday, Jr., 173 East Shirley Road, Lake Hermitage, camper trailer in a floodplain district.
If there's no objection, we'll take these in globo. Does anyone have any objection? If not, we'll go ahead. Would you read the rest of this?
Okay, that was item 4B.
Yes.
Item 4C, Paul Tozan, 9099 Highway 23, Belle Chase, Louisiana, existing fireworks stand, new location. Item 4D, Kimberly's Court, LLC, Gloria Bonvillian, Kimberly's Court Triumph, 2015 Trailer Park renewal. Item 4E, Morel's Gulf Coast Park and Campground, Arthur J. Morel, Jr., 32368 Highway 23, Empire. Item 4F, Sohenda Hin Trailer Park, Sohenda Hin, Schwest Lane, Buras. Chad Yent, 169 East Bayou Lane, Lake Hermitage, trailer park in a floodplain district.
Do I have an offering? Offered by Councilmember Lapine. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Edgecombe. Any comments or discussion on any of the items that were just read? Audience? Hearing none, the machine is open. And the permit's approved 9-0. At this time, I'd like to ask the council members to go through the agenda quickly and decide which one of these items can be withdrawn, deferred, because we have a lot of inherited items on this agenda that need to be dealt with one way or the other, either deferred, withdrawn, or some action taken. So at this time, we'll move we can start with item 6A, but I'll ask the council members to review them, and we'll move on. 6A1.
I'm going to withdraw that.
Item 6A1 is withdrawn. Move to item 6A2.
I'm going to withdraw that one as well.
You withdraw it, Councilman? 6A2 will be withdrawn. On this item, I would suggest that you get with the administration to bring the Corps of Engineers into a meeting to discuss this issue and how this variance in the levee alignment took place in this area and was not allowed in other areas, and that's a discussion that I look forward to. Thank you. Move to item B.
Withdrawn.
Item B will be withdrawn. C and D withdrawn. Item E, Councilman Edgecombe. E and F will be deferred. Item G, Councilman Lapine. Deferred.
H is withdrawn.
Withdrawn. I, Councilmember Lapine. Move on that one. Ms. Marcotte, would you read I?
A resolution authorizing signatories for accounts of the Plaquemines Parish government with Regions Bank.
Councilmember Lapine.
Fill in the blank on line 12. On line 12, insert Amos Cormier Jr.
Senior.
On senior?
Junior.
Junior, okay. Thank you. On line 13, Edward Terrio. Do we go Ed or Edward?
Edward P.
Edward P. Terrio. And on line 16, Orban, is that Orban's Director of Operations? Huh? Orban Kent? Stanley Wallace, I'm sorry. Insert Stanley Wallace, Jr.
No.
Nothing. Okay, all right. I'll get it all right.
Only
Get
one of those.
confused.
The Director of Public Works.
Okay. Also on line 51, insert the same three names. Amos Cormier Jr., Edward P. Terrio. Okay, I'm sorry, Michelle.
Instead of Mr. Wallace, it should be Mr. Tinson's name.
Okay, it's Director of Public Works?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Remove Stanley Wallace from line 16 and insert Orban Tenson Jr.
Right.
Senior. All right. Got so many seniors and juniors here. Okay. All right. And on line 51, same thing. Amos Cormier Jr., Edward P. Terrio Jr., and Orban Tenson Sr.
No junior for Edward Terrio.
No Terrio. Okay.
Okay. Councilman Lapine offers the resolution. Is there any comments? Second by Councilmember Juneau. Any comments or discussion on the resolution? Audience? Being none, the machine is open. And Charlie Burt, verbal vote? Yes. And the resolution is adopted 9-0.
J, I think it would be deferred.
Should we move to item N? We did. Okay. We move to item N.
A resolution authorizing representatives of the Plaquemines Parish government to invest funds of the Plaquemines Parish government.
Councilmember Lapine.
Okay, on the line, I'll offer and fill in the blank on line 16, Amos Cormier Jr. On line 17, Edward P. Terrio. On line 20, Tommy, do we do Thomas or Tommy Surpass? Thomas J. Surpass. And on next line, Rochelle, Rochechelle, Morell. W. Morell. Morie. Okay. With those, I'll offer.
Councilman Lapine offers. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Juneau. Any comments or discussion on the item? Anybody from the audience? It's a financial transaction authorizing the signatories on this resolution to invest the funds of the parish in financial instruments at the bank. Correct? Thank you. Any further comments or discussion? Hearing none, the machine is open. And the resolution is adopted 9-0. Move to item O. Councilmember Lapine.
A resolution to authorize the signatories of the parish's checking accounts at Regions Bank for the Coastal Zone Management Program titled Plaquemines Parish Wetlands Conservation and Restoration Fund and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer and fill in the blank on line 21. Amos Cormier, Jr. On the next blank, Edward P. Terrio. And the next blank, Mr. Cormier.
Vincent Frelish.
Vincent Frelish.
That's R-E-L-I-C-H.
Thank you, sir. With those, I'll offer.
Councilman Lapine offers. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Burt. Any comments or discussion? Audience? Hearing none, the machine is open. And the resolution is adopted 9-0. Move to item P. Councilmember Edgecombe. Item P will be withdrawn. Q will be deferred. R will be deferred. S has been deferred.
T withdrawn.
T will be withdrawn.
I am withdrawing T.
Okay.
I'm going to defer later on FF. It's a duplicate. That's a duplicate.
U and V will be deferred.
U and V will be deferred. Item W.
We're going to move on W.
A resolution authorizing the parish president to prepare and submit an application for funding in partnership with the YMCA with the FEMA Disaster Assistance DAP program for a dual-use hurricane safe room facility and to enter into a safe room facility use partnership agreement and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer.
Second. Lapine offers. And Councilman seconds.
I'm going to turn my mic over to Mr. Black. He has a little bit more information than I do. Mr. Black?
This just basically allows the parish government to file for a grant. It's at no cost to parish government in cooperation with the YMCA, provide housing during a natural disaster or any other event to emergency responders.
Any comments or discussion on the item? Councilman Turn, go ahead.
Councilman Bowe, is this in regards to a safe room?
Well, the term safe room is not, it's accurate, but the definition of it is just to provide housing as of safety to emergency responders. It's going to be a gym type of facility, but it will be able to house, cots and whatnot for emergency responders to set up a emergency operations center and housing and whatnot. It will have generator systems in a central location.
And this is the Belle Chase YMCA, right?
It's the Belle Chase YMCA. It's at no cost at all to the parish government. It just allows the government to actually apply for the grant.
Okay, and the grant is coming from where? Who?
It is a, hold on one second. Yeah, FEMA disaster grant.
Yeah. You got it?
Yeah, it's just a FEMA disaster assistance grant.
Okay.
Any further comments, questions? Audience, yes, sir.
So why they can't use the Belchers Auditorium like they've been using?
Because we need places for our emergency responders to stay during a storm.
If
This doesn't cost the parish government anything.
Sure, it don't cost the parish anything, but guess what? Good little something for the YMCA, though. Right or wrong?
No, it does benefit. It does benefit the
course,
YMCA.
Of course. I think in a matter like that, we should use public buildings to do things like that. That's my point.
Okay, thank you.
Any further comments?
Michelle Wilcox, 112 Hunt Street. The grant, you get the grant, and it goes to building this safe house or room, whatever, and yet the evacuees may be at the high school.
No, it's not for evacuees.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
But your first responders are going to be at the auditorium or at the gym to take care of the evacuees. So why would you need a grant to build something over 5, 6 blocks away when they're actually going to be, they should be with the evacuees at the time?
It's only for housing. It's not for, the evacuees will be, I would imagine, at the auditorium at the Belchers High School. And they will have the operational personnel who are assigned to work that area. But in order for them to eat, sleep, and take a break from the day-to-day operations, they're going to need an area separate from that.
Well, I mean, I think 47 years in this parish, they've eaten at Popeyes. I see them walking the highway. They take care of the evacuees in the gym. I don't see why we need to take out another FEMA grant. Whether it costs anything or not, my experience with the past council, there's no accountability for these FEMA grants. And for all these years, the auditorium's been fine. And they have to be with the people anyway. They can't leave the evacuees there. So I don't think that y'all should go into something better. If it's safe enough for our evacuees to be there, then it's safe enough for our first responders to be there.
It's not a matter of safety. It's a matter of just sheer room. If we have a large number of evacuees and we can't house them all, or we can't house all the first responders with the evacuees, it's just extra room for them to have.
Do you know how big the high school is?
Yeah, no, I went to the high school.
So you know that there's plenty square footage there between the auditorium, the gym, and the auditorium for the school?
Yeah, I am aware of that.
Okay, and so how big is this safe house going to be?
I'm not sure. I don't have a diagram of it.
Well, just in my opinion,
It's
I think
just-
there's
yeah.
better things that we could spend FEMA grants on. We need levees. We don't need a place for first responders to stay. They could stay at the high school. That's just my opinion.
No, I understand. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any further comments?
Yes. In addition to what's just been said is, I think maybe I'm incorrect, but I think we already are in the process of building or seeking 2 other safe rooms in the parish. Somebody can correct me on that.
I'm going to ask the Director of Homeland Security to come up and maybe clarify exactly the building and the grant itself.
Thank you, Councilman. Council, Mr. President. Ms. Salvant, this is a separate one from the one we have applied for 2. One would be the Safe House grant to build a EOC 911 Operations Center. This is a second one for the evacuation process. And it serves 2 purposes. One, if we, like for Isaac, we had an overflow to the YMCA. The YMCA, as it is now, it's hard to conducive to put all the folks in the YMCA now. The first responders we're speaking of is not necessarily just the Plaquemines Parish Sheriff's Office or the law or the fire here, but if we have to bring in outside help, as we have in the past, we needed a place for them also. This grant was made available. It cannot be used for anything else, such as levies or anything. This was given to the state of Louisiana. It was not used through the other parts of the state, so they came to Plaquemines Parish and asked us if we had a shovel-ready project. Fortunately, we did. We talked to the YMCA. We had an idea. They were ready to go with it, and that's how it came now.
Okay, but a safe house would not be a smart thing to do on the southern end of the parish?
No, ma'am, they won't allow it because of the floodplain areas. It has to be behind the protection levee system.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any further comments? For further discussion, machine is open.
Uh-oh. I'm trying. There you go.
resolution is adopted 9-0. We move to item X.
An ordinance exempting any prohibition of pile driving on Saturday or Sundays for the Army Corps of Engineers project WBV-MRL within 300 feet of 102 Avenue G, present location of the District Attorney's Office.
I'll offer. Next for second.
Councilmember Lapine offers. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by who? Councilman Salvo.
We're going to probably turn this over to Mr. Rittner. Could you give us an explanation on this, Mr. Blair?
Yes, Blair Rittner, Land Department, Plaquemines Parish Government. Right now, on the river levee in the vicinity of the ferry, the Corps of Engineers is constructing a T-wall that requires pile driving and sheet pile driving. In this particular area, the district attorney just moved into the old office of the permits and engineering building, which is right along the levee. I don't know if anyone's seen, but the crane is about 110 feet tall, and when they drive these battered piles, they drive them on an angle, and the angle would require the boom of the crane to be right over the district attorney's office. So the district attorney's, the whole office has to be evacuated during that process. It's going to take about 3 days for the contractor to do this pile driving, and what we're requesting is to give them a waiver for Saturday and Sunday pile driving, and then the district attorney is willing to work with us to remove everybody out of the office for 1 day to complete this project. So, normally weather doesn't stop them from pile driving, but they've had days where the wind's high and they do have to shut down. So we're requesting a waiver just in that section. It's about 300 feet that we need the waiver to drive these piles.
Thank you, Mr. Rittner.
Mm-hmm.
Mic was off. Any further discussion or comments from the audience? None. Machine is open. And the resolution is adopted 9-0. Move to item Y.
Y is...
An
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. We're moving on Y.
An ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a donation for reverse emergency calls operations and to amend the General Fund 2015 operating revenue and expenditure budgets, Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness Department, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Lapine?
Oh, offer is read.
Is there a second? Second by Councilman Salvon. Oh, excuse me. Councilman Edgecombe. Any further comments or discussion on it from the table? Any explanation? Hearing none. Any comments from the audience? None. The machine is open. And the resolution is adopted 9-0. We move to item AA.
That will be deferred. I'm sorry.
Deferred. Item BB. Item BB withdrawn. Item CC.
A resolution to elect Charlie Bird as the Vice Chairman of the Plaquemines Parish Council for the year 2015 and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Lapine.
I would ask my colleagues to support this, please.
Any further comments or discussion? Audience? Hearing none, machine is open. And the resolution is adopted 9-0.
Congratulations, John.
Item D, Councilman Edgecombe. Withdraw EDD, withdraw EE. Move to item FF, defer. Item GG, Councilman Salvo, withdraw. DD and HH will be withdrawn. We will revert back. First, we'll take care of update and presentation by District 7. Councilman Salvo. Defer that. Move to item C, Councilmember Bartholomew. Discussion regarding Mardi Gras Pass.
Yes. I'd like for the president to look into the possibility of closing the Mardi Gras Pass because of the problem that it's causing with the fishing industry on the east bank of the river. And it's an area, everyone knows that the east bank was the cornerstone of oyster industry. It was a place where you could get oysters and take them throughout the district or the parish and replant. Since Mardi Gras passed, and along with the freshwater diversion and the BP spill, hasn't happened. Hasn't had an oyster since. So we need to revitalize that community because that was a way of life that's lost. That's now is lost. So we need the administration looking at it and close that if we can as fastly, as quick as possible, and whatever we need to do that. So I request we can get that information next council meeting, if possible. That's all.
Yeah, Mr. Bartholomew, we will look into it and get as much information as possible and get that information to you and the rest of the council.
Thank you, sir. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Any further comments on this item? Being none, we'll move to approval of the minutes from the December 11th, 2014 meeting. Someone offer the minutes?
Offer.
Who offered?
I offer.
Councilman Bartholomew offered. Councilman Williams. Seconds. All right. Machine is open on the minutes. Introductions. We're going next. And the minutes are adopted 9-0. At this time, we will revert back to item 5, introductions of ordinances and resolutions. Councilmember Bartholomew.
Yes. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan for the Receipt Culvert Project, otherwise to provide respect thereto. A resolution denying the request of map change file BGLLC from A2 zoning district HM zoning district for a property located at 16323 Highway 15, Davant, Louisiana, in accordance with application number ZMP-2014-114 dated October 20th, 2014. An ordinance to amend and readopt section 4 of ordinance number 142 of the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the comprehensive zoning district map therein to adopt by reference of which is praised thereto with reference to application number ZMP 2014-114 dated October 20, 2014. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Councilmember Black.
Yes, a resolution authorizing and directing the parish president, Amos J. Cormier, Jr., to execute any and all documents necessary in applying for a local government assistance program grant for the Office of Community Services in the amount of $94,167 to purchase an emergency backup generator for the finance building at 333 F. Edward A. Bear, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to appoint a member of the Plaquemines Parish Economic Development Board representing District 2 for the term ending December 31st, 2018, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to appoint the member of the Board of Commissioners, Hospital Service District Number 1, representing District 2, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to appoint the member of the Plaquemines Parish Zoning and Planning Development Board, representing District 2, for the term ending December 31st, 2018, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That is all, Chairman.
Thank you. Councilman Lapine.
An ordinance to amend the 2014 operating expenditure budget, various funds, various departments, various line items, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An An ordinance to amend the 2015 operating budget and 5-year capital improvement plan and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance authorizing the parish president to extend funds for the alternate project associated with Hurricane Isaac Hazard Mitigation Grant Program and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan for the data assembly project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Councilman Juneau?
Yes. A resolution appointing Kim M. Toops as Secretary of the Plaquemines Parish Council and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution appointing Barbara S. Marcotti as Assistant Secretary of the Plaquemines Parish Council and otherwise thereto. An ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of the property of Glenn and Sandra Fleming, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on map of re-subdivision, tract 4B and 4B1 through 4B5, exclusively by Hugh McCurdy III, PLS dated June 15, 2012. The owners having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines, without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide respect thereto.
Thank you. I have an ordinance to amend and as amended readopt Chapter 1, Article 3, Section 2-30 of the Code of Ordinances relative to creating policy for employment for all Plaquemines Parish government parish attorneys and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2015 manpower table and general fund operating expenditure budget by transferring funds from the parish council department to the council on aging department and the council attorney department, various line items and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And an ordinance to authorize the removal of 2 stop signs on Covert at its intersection with Dr. Bow in Belchase, Louisiana, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. A resolution approving the issuance of a special business occupancy only permit, Gulf Coast Oil and Gas, LLC, to operate a wholesale and distributor selling of lubricants on property located in an I-3 heavy industrial zoning district at 101 Herman Drive, Belchase, Louisiana, all in accordance with the application number BOC-2014-113 dated October 9, 2014, and an ordinance to amend the Manpower and General Fund 2015 operating expenditure budget, Legal Services Department, and Parish President Department, Personal Services line items, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That's all I have. Councilman Burke.
A resolution to appoint the replacement member of the Plaquemines Parish Zoning and Planning Development Board representing District 6 for the term ending December 31st, 2018, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to annul, set aside, and rescind resolution number 13-239, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to appoint Denise Buford as the member of the Plaquemines Parish Economic Development Board representing District 6 for the term ending December 31st, 2008, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to appoint Stanley Godek as the member of the Board of Commissioners, Hospital Service District Number 1, representing District 6, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to appoint the at-large member of the Plaquemines Parish Economic Development Board, replacing Renee Cross, whose term expired on December 31st, 2014, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to amend as amended to appoint the members of the Regional Planning Commission from Plaquemines Parish for 2015, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Salvo.
Thank you. District 7 Department, various line items and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to appoint the member of the Plaquemines Parish Zoning and Planning Development Board representing District 7 for the term ending December 31st, 2018, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to appoint the member of the Plaquemines Parish Economic Development Board representing District 7 for the term ending December 31st, 2018, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to appoint the member of the Board of Commissioners, Hospital Service District Number 1, representing District 7, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And finally, a resolution assigning room 118 in the Port Sulphur Government Building, Port Sulphur, Louisiana, to Brenda Himes, Justice of the Peace, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Edgecombe.
Yes, sir, I have some, Ms. Barber, you read them for me, please.
An ordinance to amend and amended to readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District Map therein adopted by reference and which is paragraph thereto, with reference to application number ZMP-2014-
Would you repeat that, please?
The whole thing? Application number ZMP-2014-115 dated October 12, 2014. A resolution denying the requested map change filed by Ba V. Dang from C-2 General Commercial Zoning District to MH Mobile Home Zoning District for property located at 35031 Highway 11, Buras, Louisiana, all in accordance with application number ZMP-2014-115 dated October 12, 2014. A resolution appointing the members of the Audit Committee of the Plaquemines Parish Council for 2015 pursuant to Section 7.08 of Article 7 of the Charter for Local Self-Government, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution denying the requested map change filed by Bob V. Dang from C-2 General Commercial Zoning District to MH Mobile Home Zoning District for property located at 35031 Highway 11, Buras, Louisiana, all in accordance with application number ZMP-2014-115 dated October 12, 2014. An ordinance to amend and amended to readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District Map therein adopted by reference, and which is paragraph thereto with reference to application number ZMP-2014-115 dated October 12, 2014. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Barber.
Thank you. Councilman Williams?
I have two. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plans for the remediation repairs of Bluefield Venice Community Center project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of the property of Veronica Mam, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on map of re-subdivision track 6-A2 into track 6-A2A and 6-A2B, Champion Citrus Division, Triumph, Louisiana, by Hugh McCurdy III, PLS, July 10, 2014, the owners having fulfilled all the requirements of the subdivision or re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Any other introductions? There are none. Any other further business to come before us today? Let me thank you for attending our very first meeting, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Hopefully we can keep our meetings to a couple of hours like today. 2.5 hours would be great if we could keep them under that. Mr. President, again, it's nice to see you here today with your directors and the finance department, and we look forward to seeing you again.
And I'd like to compliment the council on their first day of ordering business.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Wait, Mr. Chairman, I'm on this corner over here, and we got to do something about this corner. So I hope we make some adjustment at the next meeting. 'Cause I can't even see the votes up here today. So I would ask that you give that the administration give me some consideration when they set this up. That's all.
I have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Councilman Bartholomew moves to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Juneau. Machine is open. And the meeting is adjourned at 4:30. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.